There we go. Hello and welcome to ADHD Friendly. I am Patty and I am all about supporting those of us with ADHD to find ways to struggle less and strive more. That's what ADHD Friendly is about. I invite you to check out my website, ADHD-Friendly.com, for lots of resources. There's lots of free things available on there, as well as information on my membership community where you can be part of a collaborative, fun, engaging environment that supports you to do more thriving and less struggling. All right, so this is episode 153. And change things up just a little bit. If you're a regular YouTube channel viewer, you'll notice I moved my bookcase. It was just, I get tired of like the same thing. So I just moved it literally as Becca was getting here. So I'm not done. I'm still tweaking my space here. Just need to sparkleize it a little bit, needed to make it a little bit more energy invoking. So I'm playing around with it, but I am going to be in this episode 153, starting as I always do with a celebration. And then I will be using my accountability in terms of what I'm spending my money on to share what I purchased this week. I did buy some things. And then I have a tip that I'm calling the Brain Dump Notebook.
Ooh.
And then the topic for this week's podcast is how to create an ADHD-friendly entryway. Right? It's the first thing that you walk in and see when you come home. So how to make it ADHD friendly. And then, of course, I will finish up with the book of the week and a quote. But let's jump into the celebration. Oh my gosh, you guys. So I said this last week. It really isn't about the numbers. And I feel like I don't honor that by doing this. But at the same time, I want to honor people that take the time to follow the steps to actually subscribe to my YouTube channel. So this is for our YouTube channel subscribers. We did it. We did it. It's only taken almost 3 years and 153 episodes. But we're there. So let's see if I can do this. Probably not, but we'll see. I don't remember how to do it.
I know, I'm kidding.
I don't know. Picture confetti. How did I do it? This is my brain. I do things and then I feel like it's so clear and obvious.
Oh, it's just a loop.
It's literally killing my fingers right now. It's so tight. I can't even get it off. I pressed it on my hand. Oh, there. Okay. Picture confetti. And these were my favorite things because they were so easy to do. I think I got a little dud.
Yeah, maybe that one's.
But that's okay because honestly, I wasn't too thrilled about having to pick up all those streamers. So picture the excitement. The energy is confetti. It's just so happy to know that I've connected with 1,000 people who found something hopefully helpful in what I share in this weekly show. All right, so on to my celebration for this week. Besides, this is like my huge celebration. So like, welcome everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. My other celebration is I did a lot of yard work. So I was just filling you in, Becca, when you got here. And she noticed, she's like, oh, your yard looks
it looks so good.
It does look good. So I took down all the dead branches on my large trees in the front yard before it gets into the full fall, like rain and wind and snow and all of that, because then they all come down and I'm always out there having to pick up a bunch of branches. There'll still be branches. I'm just trying to minimize them before the leaves fell off and I couldn't tell which ones were alive, which ones were dead anymore. And then I didn't just take them down. I broke them all up into like 12-inch pieces, which was tedious, like a really long process. Filled up my wheelbarrow and my, I have like a big, like yard tow wagon. Filled them both up completely and then had a little fire pit that night with my husband and just had like a little date by the fire pit. It was lovely.
It was beautiful out too.
Oh my gosh, it was chilly. It was so nice. So that was just a lovely time. So that is my celebration. I did a lot of hard work and then got to enjoy the benefits of that hard work. All right, so now to what I purchased this week. As I do, I update each week what I've spent money on, really trying to notice when I'm spending on wants versus needs. I heard, and I'm not going to remember it right now because I'm expecting my brain under pressure to recall something, but somebody described wants in a great, like, I always say, I love how people can distill things down into a single statement that makes it really clear. And it was something to the effect of, a want is anything you don't need. Like need to survive. And I was like, oh, okay, true.
Right.
True. Like that, like, yeah, a want is anything that you don't need. So what I felt like I needed, but probably is more of a want this week was 2 books
Okay.
that one of them, they're both relevant to the podcast. One will be one of my favorite things, and one is for an upcoming webinar I'm doing for the membership community on sleep that I'm listening to the book, and it's nonfiction. So I just need to be able to write in it and really like flag
Get
and
your
go back. Yep.
details in
So I
there.
ordered that so I can really get into it and prepare, because that's coming up in the next couple of months. And I'm like, if I don't start really, because now I have to go back and reread it.
Yeah,
Because I love listening to books, but it doesn't work for nonfiction that I need to reference.
Yeah.
So I ordered that so I can get into it. I ordered my lip gloss, which hasn't come yet. So I don't know why I'm doing this, because it's not here, but it's coming. And I'm excited that I found, it might be one of my favorite things that I share this year, because it's only $6.
Love it.
It lasts a long time, and it's a great kind of neutral color
Yes,
that
it
is very, well, trust me, even if I had it on, it would look the same, but it just lasts a long time. And
Yeah, it's your go-to one, right?
Yeah,
'Cause I
yeah.
feel like I took a picture of it because I liked it
yes,
too.
yes, yes. It's very, very,
Yeah.
very pleasant. I think it's
Yeah.
almond.
And it's moisturizing.
Yes, it is. Exactly. It's not drying.
Yeah.
So I ordered that, and that's kind of a want, because I already have one, but I put it in my purse because I really need it in my purse, but I realized I don't have one
For
on my desk, just have, yep.
It's a need.
And then I got my hair dye because it's almost that time and I don't have it. And this is where I struggle, because I feel like that's a need,
Yes.
because I'm not going to go without my hair dye. I'm
Right.
not.
No.
But it's not something that it's a want because I don't need it, but it's a need because
Ready to go.
no, and I'm saving by doing it myself. So
Really, you are saving by
yeah,
doing
so
it.
really everything I purchased fell within the parameters of what my goals are. So I still feel good about that, but especially last week after having not purchased anything, I was like, and all 5 of those things added up to $54. And the 2 books were for the podcast. So
you're spending.
okay, so now on for a tip for this week. So my tip is to have a brain dump notebook. So this is for you to consider. Again, always take what works for you, leave the rest behind. If you have a lot of scraps of paper all over the place, you have sticky notes everywhere. My husband and I watched the new episode of Slow Horses, which is an Apple Plus TV show with Gary Oldman that we love. And season 4 is coming out 1 week at a time.
Yes.
And so we just started watching it again. And there was a scene where they went into somebody's house and they were trying to find the password for their computer. And I'm not kidding when I say there was hundreds of Post-its all over like the refrigerator, the walls. And I was going to take a picture and hold it up and show you, but I was just like, all right, because I couldn't find a picture online, and I didn't want to take a picture of the TV and then press. I'm just going to describe it. But it reminded me of, we can have that, but it's very fatiguing. It's like wallpaper, right? We don't want to create wallpaper because then our brain isn't seeing it. And we can get really frustrated and drained trying to remember, where did I write that? Where is that? You have one notebook for those thoughts that come into your head that you want to capture, but you know where they are. They're all in one place. That is a strategy that can be really ADHD friendly. And there's a couple of ways you can go about organizing it. Again, if you already know what works for you, great, but I'm just going to share a couple of options to think about. One of them is just to go in order, just to, date it and just write things down as they occur. So they're always going to be in order. You're kind of like, I wrote that a while ago. Let me flip back, and you kind of go by how long ago you think you wrote it there. Another is to maybe like put those little Post-it sticky tabs, divider tabs that you can just create sections. So I had ideas like you could have ideas, you could have lists, you could have quotes, birthday party gift ideas, just whatever, travel ideas. I have places where I write down like restaurants that we went to so I can remember if I liked it, if I liked it, but it was really expensive, or it wasn't. Exactly, right? So I'm not having to work my mind as much to keep up with it. So just a place to capture everything. So when you have a thought, you're reaching for the notebook that it goes into, and it's the holder of all of your things. Even if you write it on a piece of sticky note, I would recommend a sticky note, not scrap paper. So you're not tucking it all in there, because I've done that. And then you just have a bunch of loose papers. But you can put it on a sticky note and stick it in the notebook if that's like the way it gets in there, but it's where everything goes. So you have it all in one place. So that's my tip for this week, a brain dump notebook. Okay. Now, a quick little promo for the ADHD-friendly membership. I just want to remind everybody that it is a membership opportunity to participate in a community that is designed around supporting your brain, meeting you where you are, and building from there so that you are finding ways to thrive with your brain and not struggling with it. In October, so coming up in October, we're going to be really focusing in on fall organization. So we're going to be talking about how to organize your recipes, how to get your laundry under control, how to organize physical pictures. It may even be like going through your digital pictures and deciding which ones do you want physical copies of. And then we're even going to do a plan your month live session. And then the webinar for October is on boredom. I'm going to talk about how boredom is like kryptonite to our brain, and we need to find ways to be able to tolerate it so that it is not getting in our way. So if you want more information on the ADHD-Friendly membership, I invite you to check out ADHD-Friendly.com for all the information on the courses that are available on there, the tools that are included, including the ADHD-Friendly Planner. The planner course is going to be added by the end of this year. So it just continues growing. It's becoming more and more valuable with every passing month. So if that sounds like something that would work for you, check it out. We'd love to have you join us. All right. Now for the topic for episode 153, we're going to talk about creating an ADHD-friendly entryway. So the entryway is literally the first thing that you come into when you come home, but it's also the first place that your guests see when they come into your house. And I always say, this is the place that can be inviting to guests, or it can be the place, if you have ADHD, that gets in the way of even having guests come into your house, because it's that discomfort of, I can't have anybody come in and see this. And I have had this happen. Oh my gosh, so many times where I'll go to the door and I'm like, it's a neighbor. You know, I'm not expecting someone. I'm like, what do I answer it? They know I'm home. My car's there. I used my first house when I had small kids. I didn't have a garage. And so you could always know when I was home because the car is there. And it was like, okay, they know I'm home. How do I open the door but not invite them in?
Yes.
And so, because I couldn't invite them in, it was not a welcoming ADHD-friendly entryway. It was a hazard. Like it was like, no, I'm serious.
No.
It was like, but it was like, how do I, and it was like they open the door and I'm like eking out, trying to like get out and close the door behind me. So you can't even like peek in and see.
Well, you also have dogs and babies.
Yeah, and I totally use that as an excuse. Don't dogs out. It was the dogs, but it wasn't. It was, this is a SHIT show, and I don't need you to see it because it just got me so in my head. It was like suddenly the doorbell rang and I could like, it was almost like my eyes went to that Technicolor, like the Wizard of Oz, you know, from the black and white to color to, oh my gosh, I'm now seeing this space for what it is. So I just want to share some tips. If your entryway is not working for you, whether it's small things or it's like my entryway was, which was like a bomb went off in it, how to make it more friendly for you and for people that come into your home so that they're seeing a representation of you and it's reflected in your entryway in a positive way, not in a, wow, what's going on here, right? Okay, so whether your entryway is big or small, for most of the places I've lived in my life, my entryway has always been, you open the door and you're in my family room.
Yes.
Like that's it. Or like in my first house, you opened the door and you were in the dining room, kitchen. Like I've never had like a foyer, kind of space. I do here in this house, and I had nothing in my house in Raleigh. It was like you walked in and you walked into the stairs, which I always hated. It was like it was like, okay,
you go up now.
Yeah, like there's nowhere to go. So we're all like, I have to invite you. It was worse because I had to invite you into the kitchen or the family room because there was no room to stand. If I invited you, so it had to be come through. Remember that whole like come through because there was nowhere to stand. It was really uncomfortable. At least here I'm kind of like, we're going to stand in this space and you're not going to go anywhere else in here. Anyway, I digress. So organizing it is one thing, maintaining it is another. So we want to keep it simple. And that's really what I focused in on pulling and curating some of these tips. So we want to keep it from getting overwhelming. So here are some, I think I have 3. Yep. No, I have 4. 4 quick tips. So the first is, before you start diving in, decide what's essential for your entryway. You may not have everything already, but decide like, okay, if my entryway is going to be functioning in the best way for me, what does it include?
Yeah.
So before you start, because that's what we tend to do, it's like, well, let me just organize what I have. But what if what you have isn't working for you, and then it's not going to continue working, because then it's going to come apart again because you don't have the pieces you actually need to keep it up. So to create one, look at what's there now, maybe deciding, okay, we're always going to have shoes by the door.
Yeah.
Is the way you're storing shoes working? Or maybe there's nowhere to put coats that is working. Maybe you have some hooks, but they're, they're not strong enough to hold the weight of the, or they're the height where some of them are dragging on the floor, or the kids can't reach them, or whatever it is. Are they working? Is what you're having, what you currently have, working? What needs to be in there for it to function for you? So if you don't have something, what would you add? Like, would you put a little trash can so that if somebody has, a tissue in their pocket or something, it can just go in the trash instead of ending up on,
the counter
or the floor. Yeah, exactly. Or maybe what needs to live somewhere else? Is it the pile, of things that just end up landing there because there's a place like a countertop or somewhere to put it? What needs to go find another home so that that's where it will go, and it's not going to continue coming back into the entryway if it's not serving you there? I put for some examples, and these are things that have all been my entryway before. The kids' toys, like, all over it.
Oh yeah.
Books, all over it. Golf clubs, like literally hockey equipment. Right. It's like, that might be the place that makes sense when you come in, but it may not be the place for it to live ongoing. So deciding if it's not there, what's the home going to be, so that there is a place you can say, hey, that doesn't belong there, it goes here. Because what happens is, if you don't have a home, it's, well, I don't have anywhere else to put it. And then it's like, okay, yeah, I don't know where else to put that. It's not going to fit it. So then we just leave it. And then it's kind of the tipping point where the entryway just becomes the cluttered mess again, because we can't sustain it, because we didn't decide what to do with the things that don't really need to live there. So that's step one, is just decide what's essential for your functional ADHD friendly entryway. Okay, number two, consider some items. I'm going to list some sparkly items. I really am just doing this not as a, you should have all of this, just as a, oh, I never even thought about using my entryway for that. That would really help. Or yeah, I've always known that's what I need. I'm just going to start looking at yard sales, or look at, online, and see if I can find what I'm looking for wherever you shop. So one is hooks. So hooks are great on the wall for any number of things, from your jackets to your coats to dog leashes, umbrella to hang from there. Absolutely. Hats. If you're a hat person. Your purse, if you hang your purse from a hook, so it's right there. Just like if you go to the doctor's office, it's right there. Why not do that at home too? It's right there. You might want to consider a coat rack or an umbrella stand. This is my favorite thing. We have a pretty big closet in our entryway right now. It's going to sound silly, but I can say this to you. You're my people. Nobody in my house is going to open the door, get the hanger out, put the coat on the hanger, and it's not happening. That is not, that's good for storage for the winter coats when the winter season's over, or for switching from like fall jackets to winter jackets. But we're not taking our coat off, opening. It's like, what was that? Was it Mr. Rogers who always did that? That's lovely. That's not our people. It's just not, at least not my family's people. And so even though for the first time ever, we have a coat closet that is actually large enough to hold all of our coats, and enough hangers for all of the coats, because that's always been something too. I was like, I need more hangers. Where's going? We have all the hangers we need. We have all the coats we need. We don't need anything else. But we will not open that door to get coats out. No. So we have a coat rack. And that coat rack can get pretty bogged down with coats. So I kind of have, like, each family member has one, like, there's like a section of like hooks, like each hook, each section has like 2 hooks. You pick whatever you prioritize, but that's it. That's all you get. And then there's like a little open section on the bottom for the umbrellas. So you tuck the umbrellas in there, you put the coats over the top, you can put hats on whatever you want. It's your section. Scarves. Yep. So that might be something to consider. The umbrella stands are really nice, especially in the fall. If you've got a place that they just go when you come in. I have to say, where mine is underneath, because we do wear coats so much here in Chicago. If the umbrella is really wet, I don't want to, because it will end up rubbing against the coats to put it in there. So it does get in the way of dropping it in there. So having a separate one can be nice. I don't have a separate one, but I'm just throwing that out there. Think about the shoes. If your family members will pick shoes up and put them in baskets, I know that's a a popular way to store shoes where it's just drop them in there. You can't really see them unless you're leaning over. It's open, so it's easy to get them in and out of, but it's a way to drop them. Or maybe having a basket for each family member and they put their things in that one basket. And if you have like a table or a bench that they'll slide under, that can be a nice, or even like they have like cubby, you know, kind of like shelves, that kind of thing. Maybe consider a cabinet or a chest with drawers in it. If you will open the drawers and put things in them, this is something else to keep in mind. Sometimes the open spaces with bins that we can see into works a lot better than just kind of like the closet. If you're not going to open the drawers and access the things or store things in the drawers, like I keep light bulbs and things in mine that are for
so you can remember
the lights in the foyer. So I'll remember they're right here because I'm not going to walk to the garage to get a light bulb.
Or the kitchen.
The light bulb will just stay burned out forever. So I just keep them in that drawer. But if I was going to open the drawer and put like keys, like I'm not going to do it. That's the other thing for the hooks. You can have like little hooks for keys. Yeah. Or even to hang like little baskets for you to put like mail and things. You can even have like the little wire baskets and things on the wall to store mail or
packages,
forms from school for your kids, whatever it is. Maybe considering a bookshelf, right? So just having a single bookshelf in your hallway, if that works, or in your entryway, because sometimes if you have a really small space, a bookshelf, you can get a narrow bookshelf and it's going to be like perfect. Maybe you need to adhere it to the wall or a half bookshelf. So it's shorter, but something that's going to allow you to have some storage space, go vertical with it if you don't have a lot of space in your entryway to work with. A mirror. I am big on a mirror. You know, I have a mirror in my entryway. I don't know if this is an aging thing, but I'm like, I need to kind of like do this quick. Am I forgetting anything? Like even like, do I have my glasses? Do I, you know, have I like forgotten to brush my hair today? Right. Sometimes I'll get up and I'll go do my walk and I'll do my yoga and I'm like, oh my gosh, I totally like forgot. I haven't even looked. So I'm like, or I need to check my teeth to make sure I don't have breakfast left in my mouth before I head out the door. So I like a mirror just to be able to do a quick glance before I go on my day.
Yeah, and it just looks nice too to have a mirror.
It makes the room look bigger too. It flex back the room. So it's win-win-win. Maybe some extra lamps for lighting. My foyer is pretty dark, so I have some lamps on my tables in there. A bench to sit on. This is a game changer. Yeah. Because for me, it gets in the way of wearing shoes that require me to sit down. I'm like, I'm just going to do this. And then I'm killing myself going on a long walk if I don't have the shoes on that required me to sit down. So a quick bench. I have to say, I got my hall bench from Hobby Lobby.
Ooh, they do have good.
In the first month that we moved here. And I remember my husband was like, you are not, because it's just a metal bench. And he's like, you're not going to put that in the entryway. And I was like, I am. And I got a couple of cute little, like, I changed the pillows out. It's adorable. I love it. And it was like $50. And
win-win.
I love it.
Where too?
Oh, well, I originally had it in my happy room, but then I moved it into the hall when I realized it fit on that angle of the stairs perfectly. And I'm like, this is where it needs to be, because I kept walking into the other room to have to put my shoes on. And I don't want to wear my shoes. It has a carpet in there. I didn't want to wear it into the carpet to have to take them on and off. So a bench, charging cables, if that would be like a nice place to have your devices charging, that can be really helpful, just to have it set up on a counter or bookshelf, whatever you have there, to be able to charge things. Here's one of my favorite little things I highly recommend if you ever have to go outside at night.
Duh.
Because we have coyotes here.
Yes.
So I like to like do a quick flash before I let the dogs out, just to see if I see any lights flash, like reflecting back, any eyes reflecting back at me.
Smart.
I have to go get the mail. It gets slippery here. I like to like see if, you know, when I'm getting ready to.
So you don't fall.
Yeah. It's just a quick little thing, because sometimes it's just shockingly dark outside.
Yeah. You don't think about it.
It can be really helpful just to have a handy flashlight in your entryway. Or if the power goes out in your house, you know that you have a flashlight in the entryway. That could be like one of the helps. Okay. So that's like just a list that I kind of pulled, and, you know, I went through like what I have in mind. And I also went through a lot of information I found online for some tips for what to consider for your entryway. Okay. Number 3, getting down to it, make it sparkly. You want your entryway to be inviting, not just for you, but when you have company, you want to be like, this is the space and I'm excited that you're coming into my home and you can see. So conceal clutter. Right. So if you know, like you have a bunch of shoes, and this is still, I know Becca's like, you should see her shoes. We have an ongoing shoe thing. apparently deciding, like everybody, I always say everybody gets 2 pairs of shoes that you can have down in the
Right.
entryway.
Everything
That slowly evolves. Oh, confetti just fell. How interesting. I wonder if that's part of the video.
It probably is.
Did I make it happen? Did I make it rain? Maybe some throw pillows, an area rug.
Ooh.
I've never found the right area rug for my foyer. I've been looking.
Yeah, you have to make sure you get the right measurement for
Yeah.
a small, rug.
Maybe a little entry table if you have space for that, a bench, pictures, like family pictures on the wall, or maybe some like inspiring picture. Cubbies for under the stairs, potted plants, a little greenery if you get a little sunlight that would help it to survive. Maybe repurpose furniture from another room. I love this idea. So a chest of drawers can be really, like even like an old like 4 or 5 chest dresser, a drawer dresser can be really nice in a foyer. A nightstand, a bookshelf, or pick a color theme for the things you're curating. I found a lot of that in the examples of really creating functional and cozy entryways had to do with like having like a theme of like blue hues or green hues. So I thought, oh, that feels really sparkly. Yeah. And then my last tip is keep it simple. We are not trying to get ready for, home and garden to come photograph it or whatever, House Beautiful or whatever the magazine. We're not looking for the photo spread. We're not going on Magnolia. We're just trying to create an entryway that when you come home, it's pulling you in, it's brings you joy, and it's sustainable. So for me, an uncluttered entryway, like mine is like really simple bench. I have a little chest, I have a mirror, and I have like a tray for the shoes to sit in, which half of them live on the tray, half of them don't. And then I have my coat rack. That's it. But when it's organized, it makes me very happy. I don't need a bunch of other like pops of, things, and it's just very simple, but it's very sparkly to me because it generally keeps things, I would say keeps things 80% organized on its own, and the final 20% I could take care of in less than 2 minutes, which to me is always like, that's a system. If you can get it back together in less than 5 minutes, it's working. Okay, now for my book of the week. It is Slow Dance by Rainbow Rowell. Have you read Rainbow? I know, right? Oh my gosh, I love the way that she writes. This came out in July of this year, so it's a newer book. It is a romantic comedy, which I love. It's how she writes. I love the way that she writes. So this one is about 3 friends that were high school best friends, and it's 2 guys and a girl, and they are now 33 and they're attending one of the guy friends' weddings.
Got it.
And it's been 14 years since Carrie, who's a guy who's now in the Navy, and Shiloh, who is divorced now with 2 kids, have seen each other, and they're attending the other best friend's wedding. And so the little description for the book is, it's the story of 2 kids who fell in love before they knew enough about love to even recognize it. Cute. And so they come back to this wedding, and they're both excited about seeing each other, but they're both kind of playing it like their friend. It's really, really sweet. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I read it super fast. It was just highly recommend. Totally loved it. So if that's your kind of thing, and if you haven't read Rainbow's other books, I highly recommend them. She was, no, I'm not going to think of it. I can picture the cover. I'm going to say it's Eleanor. I can't think of it now. It's somebody and somebody. I can't remember. I'm sorry. Maybe I'll write it down and have Becca pop it up on the video, because it's going to drive me. And it's not, I thought it was on the front of this book, and it's not. Eleanor and Parks. I don't remember. Sorry. Okay, I'm going to let that go. The quote of the week. This is from Nicholas Sparks. I thought it was appropriate to tie in a little romantic love quote here. He said, "Love is like the wind. You can't see it, but you can feel it."
Oh, it's from Walk to Remember.
Is that where it's from?
Oh. Yeah, I remember.
I thought it was from the Notebook, but I didn't know.
Oh, no, that's from A Walk to Remember.
But I love that. You can't see it, but you can feel it.
And
so you know
it was at the end. Oh,
we can always count on Becca to pin it down to the detail. Thank you, Becca. All right, guys, that was episode 153. As always, hold on what works for you. Capture it in your personal owner's manual. If you would like to start with a little bit of structure to start your personal owner's manual, there's a free mini POM on the website, ADHD-friendly.com, to get you started. Until next week, tally ho.